Now, we are getting some more news vis-a-vis the reactions that are coming in as far as this particular special session of the Parliament is concerned. Now we've got some breaking news. There is a fresh reaction that has come in by way of the National Conference Vice President, Mr. Omar Abdullah. Now, he's further spoken about how this special parliamentary session is something that is nothing, where the government really doesn't have an agenda. He slammed the government over it, and he's gone on to claim, let me quote from what he has said. Now, he has gone on to say that there is really no agenda. If there is an agenda, we wouldn't have talked. That is what is the claim by Omar Abdullah. He also further goes on to say that if there is an attempt to damage the federal structure of the country, we are against it. He is, of course, also making insinuations about this possibility that India's name might just be changed to Bharat, and that's why that special invite was sent out by the president of the country, which read, the letterhead read, President of Bharat. He further goes on to say that if the attempt is to start from one nation, one election, something that has been the crucial point and very much discussed all through this week and the last, then he goes on to say that one nation, no election, no one will stand for it. This is something that cannot be a practical solution, is what Omar Abdullah is claiming. Let's first actually hear the exact point that the National Conference Vice President has made, and then we will try and get in a colleague on this.
सर, एजेंडा हो तो हम उस पर बात करेंगे, जहां वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की बात है। इससे पहले भी कमेटियां बनी। मेरी जानकारी के मुताबिक कोई 4 या 5 कमेटियां हैं जिन्होंने वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का जो है एक रिपोर्ट तैयार किया है। अब ये नया कमेटी बना है। क्या मकसद है इसका हमें समझ नहीं आता। अगर के मकसद सिर्फ इतना है कि प्रोसेस जो है वो आसान होना चाहिए, तो इससे किसी को एतराज नहीं हो सकता। लेकिन अगर वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन के जरिए आप रीजनल पार्टीज को मिटाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, तो उसके हम सख्त खिलाफ हैं। अगर मुल्क के फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर को जख्म पहुंचाने की कोशिश है, तो उसके भी हम खिलाफ रहेंगे। अगर कोशिश ये है कि शुरुआत आपकी वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन हो और खात्मा इसका वन नेशन नो इलेक्शन, जिसकी भी बात चल रही है, तो उसके हक में कोई नहीं हो सकता।
Let me take this across to my colleague Ishan Wani is now joining us live from Srinagar. Ishan, I'd like to understand the statement that's been made by Omar Abdullah. This is, of course, in view of the other reactions that have come in vis-a-vis the special session of the Parliament. But he specifically talks about one nation, one election. And he says that there needs to be a consensus building and there needs to be a conversation around it, because you can't really unilaterally slap this decision on the country, which is essentially a union of states. Just break down these points for our viewers, and how impactful or essential will this statement be that Omar Abdullah has made?
Well, one, Omar is very clear that since there is no agenda, that the government has officially come on record and said that what they are going to discuss during that particular special session, he would have made further comments. But now, since there are talks about one nation, one election, his feeling is that if the process is to make and streamline the entire process of election, then they have no problem, because streamlining of election is very important. And Omar Abdullah, that is why he said that when there is a streamlining of elections in India, they don't have any problem about that particular session. But if this goes on and there is one nation, one election, which dents the regional political parties and hampers the regional political parties, then they have a strong objection to that. He further on went to say that if this actually damages the federal structure of India and the way in which it functions, then they will, of course, strongly object to that. Further, in the conclusion, he said that, if the government is trying to make sure that there is one election, no election at the end, that is something where they strongly object to, because remember, there have been criticism from the regional political parties, particularly those in the opposition, that one election, one nation is something which has, according to them, come out because there are regional political parties which are getting together, and they believe that because of that particular process, that it has unnerved the government, and that is why they are wanting to have one nation, one election. But the Omar Abdullah was categorically saying that if this is a process of streamlining the election process, they won't have any issue. But if there are other things that the government has in mind, then they will strongly object to it. Remember, Omar Abdullah also, talked about the India alliance that is taking place. The renaming of India, the the growing talk about the India versus Bharat debate that is going on. He went on to say that if, importantly, the government hints at the opposition alliance being named India, and that is the problem that the current government has, then they would not bother to change the name of the alliance. And these are the comments coming from Omar Abdullah, who was in Pulwama today. One has to see what do the other political parties take a stand on this, because we haven't heard from PDP,
Yes.
which has had a considerable amount of reactions coming in from their party, but they haven't officially spoken about it yet.
Right. Ishan, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast with all the latest that you're bringing us when it is about reactions that are coming in over this special session. Now, we were talking about Sonia Gandhi's missive to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on this special session. She has gone on to, in fact, confirm that opposition attendance will be there. But let's break down the points of what that letter really has. We have got that special scoop for you right here on CNN News 18. Firstly, she goes on to go and confirm the attendance. She says that we will be participating in the Parliament session. The second point that she raises is that the special session has been convened without consultation, something that has been reiterated time and again by every member of the opposition, that there was no consultation with the opposition parties before this decision really was taken that a special session of Parliament needs to be convened. She also said that she was told that 5 days were allocated for the government business. And then she further goes on to claim that there was no opposition party that has the idea of what the agenda of the session really is, and hence this letter to the Prime Minister. She also goes on to say that she will be raising matters of public concern. So she has pretty much laid down a guideline of what really this entire opposition attendance will be all about in the special session, and goes on to say that people's concerns are something that the opposition is intending to look at. We will, of course, keep tracking all the developments when it comes to the back and forth when it is about the special Parliament session. But right now, what we're doing right here on CNN News 18 is slipping into a very short break. Coming right back.